This is King Ayuk, the king of Manu, the philosopher king, the Pan-African king. Southern Cameroon, the land of Ambazonia, is at war. This is a civil war that will change the entire Cameroon. But the governing council, interim president Ayuk Tabe Julius, is only seeking diplomatic relationships with the Western world. But when we look at the issue that is happening inside Southern Cameroon, inside Cameroon, this issue started because of the Western world. If you go back in history, the Western world came to Africa, conquered Africa, and then divided Africa for their own interest. For their own interest, not for the interest of the Africans or the interest of the African people, but for the interest of the West. And through slavery and colonization, Africa has benefited the West. It has never benefited Africans. But I don't seem to understand why black people, Africans, when they have problems that they need to sit down and fix by themselves, they always decide to go and seek for advice to the West. They always decide to go see the UN or European countries or United States or any other Western countries. Why can't Africans solve the problem that concerns Africa? The issue that is going on in Africa, the entire Africa today, the issue with Togo, the issue with Cameroon, the issue with any country in Africa is due to the fact that the West divided Africa for their own interest. So, what can we do to solve the issue as black people, as Africans? What can we do to solve the issues concerning Africa in general? Because the problem that is happening inside Togo or the problem that is happening inside Cameroon is an African problem and should be solved by Africans. Southern Cameroon has a governing council with a group of other, entities that are fighting to free Southern Cameroon. Skarkouf is doing a good job. But ever since they decided to declare the restoration of our independence without having a military to back that independence, that just is a fallacy. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. It makes no sense. You can't become a state without having a military and diplomatic ties. And you cannot rely completely on diplomatic ties. Skarkouf, the interim president of Southern Cameroon, of Ambazonia, needs to start acting like a commander-in-chief of Ambazonia. No longer like the interim president, no longer like a governing council. Fuck it. The governing council should not be called the governing council. It should be the government of Southern Cameroon or the government of Ambazonia. And the president, the active president, the commander-in-chief, forget even the active president of the interim president, the commander-in-chief of Ambazonia at this moment should be Sissoco President Tabe Julius. He should take the role as a commander-in-chief form a military. He should have formed a military before the 1st of October. He should have formed a military before the 1st of October, because by declaring Southern Cameroon an independent state, that would lead to bloodshed. And since October 1st, and even before October 1st, La République has been terrorizing our people, have been terrorizing Southern Cameroonians, have been terrorizing Ambazonians. Ever since October 1st, but the fact is, after October 1st, the intensity of the killing of our people has just increased immensely. No doubt about that. People are being killed daily. But we don't have a military backup. What is the governing council doing? What is President Ayuk doing? What is all those people? And one thing that, concerns me when it comes to the governing council, they seem not to want to include everybody who have different opinion. A country as Southern Cameroon or as Ambazonia should be inclusive. People like Ayuk and Mark should be heard of. They should be part of, just because Ayuk has a different approach, a different strategy of how to solve the issue that concerns Southern Cameroonians, shouldn't make the governing council not to listen to him or not to work with him. This is the time for Southern Cameroonians to work with one another. It doesn't matter what opinion they have. Now, being saying that, we know Kawala has a different opinion when it comes to Southern Cameroon. She doesn't believe in the state of Amazonia. So that's a different case. She's not involved. Period. She's involved with La République. So for Kawala, she's not part of Southern Cameroon. She's part of La République. Simple as that. So her stupid protest that she's doing in Douala as of yesterday, the 21st, is BS. It's bullshit. It doesn't concern us. So nobody should really talk about that shit. Anyway, free all arrested. Yeah, we want everybody that's been arrested should be free. But by doing that, we already know that Paul Biya would not free them. Because if Paul Biya wanted to free them, this is over a year now, he would have freed them. So that stupid stunt you making in Douala makes no sense. It's bullshit. It's BS. So nobody should pay attention to that Kawala lady. She's a mad lady anyway. She's not a politician. She don't know politics at all. She thinks what she's doing is politics, but that's not politics. That's just garbage, just nonsense. Kawala is a fool and not to be listened to. I said it, King Ayuk, King of Man, you said it. Kawala is a fool. But I'm going to move past that dumbass topic anyway. The fact is this. The issue that's happened inside Cameroon, in Togo, and any other state in Africa that is rising up against the government, is all due to the fact of the West. Due to the fact that Europeans came inside Africa, conquered Africa, brought Christianity, and don't forget about Arabs. They brought, their stupid-ass freaking religion, Islam, in Africa. If you look like a country like, what is this damn-ass country anyway? Gaddafi's country. Gaddafi thinks that he could fight the whole West by himself. They think that they could fight the entire West by you can't fight the entire West. In order to do that, in order for Africa to survive, we need to make Africa stronger. Change what the Western world has done to Africa. We need to create we need to create a West African Republic or a West African Federation where states in West Africa will be part of a federation. That way, we'll have a stronger economy. We'll have a bigger military to deal with the issues that concern West African states. And that goes with North African states. That goes with East African states. That goes with Southern African states. You know, bringing all these countries together under a federation will make Africa better and stronger. The economy will be better. The reason why China is doing better today is because they decided to stay together as a country. If you remember, there was a period where they had to stop every shit that's happening inside China, and stop everybody who decided wanted to split China for their own personal gain, and make China a one China, and even extend it to Hong Kong. Hong Kong has been fighting for a long time to succeed from China. But now, they're still together, and that makes them stronger. Makes their economy stronger. So, Africa needs to create a region republic. A West African region republic. An East African region republic. A North African region republic. That will make Africa stronger. And we will have a better military. We have a better economy to deal with the issues that face us today. This leads me to this. People keep thinking that Cameroon is only a Central African state. But no. Cameroon is a Central African state and a West African state. Southern Cameroon, which is also called Ambazonia, is part of West Africa, not part of Central Africa. This is another strategy to let the people know that as West Africans, we need to be part of the West African region. And then La Republic, which is Central African region, needs to be part of the Central African region. So Cameroon must be divided. We know about that. And what can we do as a people to make sure that we fight this civil war? Because it's no longer a protest. This shit has been over a year now. It's no longer a protest, but a freaking civil war. The only fact is that we don't have a military to fight this civil war. Because the interim president, Ayuk, Tabe, Julius, and the governing council are not bold enough. They don't have the leadership to take this to the next level. They think that begging the UN, begging the Western world, trying to create diplomacy is the only solution that will solve the Southern Cameroon issue. But no. When all avenues have been used and nothing has changed, it's time for us as a people to see ourselves as kings, as God of ourselves, be in control of our faith. Rather than begging for other states, other countries for help, we should help ourselves. I see the videos of in Boya, in Bamenda, and other areas that have been attacked by the military of La Republic. A military of any country is supposed to protect the people of that country. As you see, only military fight military people. You rarely see a military in the United States go and just kill people. No, they will fight by military. other military from different countries. They won't fight citizens. They won't fight unarmed citizens. Although police kill unarmed citizens, that's different. Police is not the military, though it's, you know, it's different branch. It's not like the military that fights other countries. The police deals with people, so sometimes you have casualties, but the rate of killing in the United States by the police, especially the black people, it's fucking alarming. It's just crazy. It's mad. It's mad crazy. It's madness. The rate at which white police kill black people in the United States is ridiculous. But I'll leave that to another topic. The fact is this. La République, or the military of La République, is killing unarmed citizens. People who don't have guns to fight back. And the governing council should take the role as the commander-in-chief of Ambazonia. The commander-in-chief now will provide the military the fund needed to put down a military inside Southern Cameroon, a military that will be able to fight La République's military, so that this war that's going on is going to be a civil war where two military will be fighting each other, and the people who are being killed are ready to fight. Why can't Tabe, Julius, Ayuk, and the governing council create a military and send down a military as soon as possible? Because if we don't do that, we are failing our own people. You, President Tabe, Julius, and the governing council, you are failing your people as a leader. You're failing your people. The job you started hasn't finished. You cannot just rely on diplomacy and expect that diplomacy will solve every issue. Diplomacy takes time. It takes a long time. Why are you doing the diplomatic part? Put down the military. I don't care how many military you put. If you can put up to 500 military trained people with guns shooting at La République, will send a great message. Because it's like this. This is what happens in the war. Two military fight each other. This is the military shoots at this other military. This other military shoots at this military. This military you're fighting has casualties. The other side also have casualties. When the casualties is going to another level, guess what? You will be able to force the hand of La République for, you know, a dialogue. The reason La République is not dialoguing with us Southern Cameroonian, with us Ambazonian, is because they don't see us as equals. They do not see us as equals. So why don't they see us as equals? Because we don't have the military background or the military backup to fight them. Right now, what is the Republic doing? Just running a damn truck on the population of people and killing them. That's terrorism. But they don't want to call it terrorism because it's another military killing people. That's terrorism. Putting fear. But fear is in the mind. Conquer your fear, and you conquer anything. And those who are willing to do something back home, those who are willing to do something rather than watching people die, rather than being killed, form a military background, form a military group of few, use any means necessary, any method necessary. If you want to burn down banks in La République, burn down the banks, because if we could burn down banks, the government of La République will not have the funds to pay their military. And if it can't pay their military, guess what? There will be mutiny. No military man want to kill people and not get paid. They kill people for money. That's what military does. They kill people for money. It's as simple as that. Nobody's going to work if they're not going to get paid. So let's start burning some of these banks in Yaoundé, in Douala. Government banks, not credit union banks. Credit union banks are owned by people. But government banks, you guys know the government banks. It's time to start burning some of those banks. You know? Like I was said, man, burn every shit that you can. It's time for us to start burning those banks. The government banks that funds the military. When they don't have funds to pay their military, the military now turn against them. It's another strategy. If you think it can work and anybody is willing to do that, go for it. Because the leadership of the governing council is not just fake. I don't believe in their leadership anymore, because leadership is not about just discussion and diplomacy. Now, a time when a commander-in-chief is needed to do what is necessary to save their people, to do what is necessary to take this fight to another level. This is no longer a protest. This is no longer a protest. This is a revolution. This is a civil war. The rate of which our people, English Cameroonians, Southern Cameroonians, are being killed by French Cameroonians is unfreaking believable. And I don't give a fuck about any French Cameroonian. To me, all French Cameroonians are enemies. All French Cameroonians are enemies. Because if they're not killing us directly, they're killing us indirectly. If they're not killing us directly, they're killing us indirectly. All French Cameroonians are enemies to Ambazonia, are enemies to the state of Ambazonia. And any English Cameroonian supporting La République is an enemy to the state of Amazonia, is an enemy to the English Cameroonians. Number one rule of war: know yourself and know your enemies. If you know yourself and you know your enemies, you will be victorious. And then energy and persistence conquers all things. We should not give up hope. This is a war that we must fight till the end. Energy and persistence conquers all things. You want to achieve anything in life, you must keep going at it. You will fail many times, but so long as you don't give up, you will see the other side. You will be victorious. Know yourself and know your enemies. We are Anglophones, we are Southern Cameroonians, we are Ambazonians. It's time for us to have a home for ourselves. It's time for us to protect the motherland of Ambazonia. If we don't protect it, it won't protect us. If we're not willing to kill for it, if we're not willing to die for it, then we will be children without a home. All English Cameroonians, those who are for Southern Cameroonians and those who are against Southern Cameroonians, will be children without homes. Whether you like it or not, that's just the goddamn truth. That's just the goddamn truth. This life is war. You gotta change your mentality. And Africa can never survive at the rate at which it's going. Each state trying to survive on its own. Look at Mugabe. Still trying to run for presidency. You have been president since 1980. This is the shit about African leadership. The shit about African leadership. When they become presidents, they don't want to let go of power. They don't want to let go of power. They think they are all and all. They are the only one that can solve the problems concerning their respective countries. And this goes with President Paul Biya, who has been there for 35 years. And most of the African states, if you look at most of the African states, Guinea, the president has been there for over 20 years. And you do know why some of the African leaders can't speak against some of these African leaders? Because they're doing the same thing. When they get in power, they want to stay there forever. But as an African president, you are not just a leader of your respective country, but you're a leader of Africa in general. Just because Nigeria is better doesn't mean that that's the best thing about Africa. No. Nigeria is better. The rest of West African countries or West African states should be better. Nigeria as a country should lead a federal republic of West Africa. ECOWAS, just an economic. No, you need to make this thing bigger and better. The reason United States is so powerful is because 50 states are together. But Africa is so big to a point where you can put 54 states as one freaking country. It's a freaking continent. So you can't run it that way. You gotta break it down. West African Federation, East African Federation, Southern African Federation, Northern African Federation. By doing that, those states that like fighting, who think they can fight the West on their own, you're just fooling yourself, because you're not. There's no country inside Africa. None. Even Nigeria, which is big. There's no country inside Africa that can face any country, any powerful state in the West or the East. That's the goddamn truth. Look at India. India is killing our people. Mob killing our people. And our presidents, our leaders, can say nothing about it. They think, oh, I'm a country. I'm just a president of this country. If I'm this president of this country, I'm just only concerned about my country. And then as a president of that country, I will eat the most worth as much as I can. The amount of money the leaders of Africa have stolen in each prospective state could do more to develop Africa. No human being, no president in Africa should be able to have up to 200 million US dollars in his account. For what? Why are you having all that money? The king of Morocco, so freaking rich. But the rest of Morocco are suffering. Why have all that wealth, all that money, and you cannot utilize it to do something better? Africa needs to change, because Africa is weak. I don't care if you are the president of whatever country and you think you are the top-notch shit. Motherfucker, Africa is the weakest continent in the goddamn world. It's a joke. Blacks all over the world are looked down because the leaders of Africa cannot stand united and do something for black people, for black pride. And let me tell you, Egypt, you think you're part of the Middle East now. You are in Africa. You're not part of Middle East. You're not part of Arab. You may think you are, but you're not. So long as you're in that entire area known as Africa, you are an African. I understand many people have migrated and come into Africa, yes. But so long as you're inside Africa, you are an African. Beside, the white Africans. Those white Africans, man, bullshit. Like people in South Africa. I don't want to even talk about South Africa because when I talk about South Africa, I'm pissed at the shit they're doing. But enough of that shit. This is King Ayuk, man. This is what's in my mind. I just want to express myself. You know what I'm saying? Because if I don't express myself, what's the point of having freedom of expression? I want to encourage every African out there to speak their mind to the fullest of their capabilities. Don't hold back. Be bold. Be yourself. This is King Ayuk, King of Manu. I'm out.